Okay, guys, I think we're back. My name is Maniac with GameAccess.net. We're in Chapter 4 of Alan Wake, and this is my favorite chapter. I just want to say this right now. We're going to have a lot of behind-the-scenes information. We're going to have a lot of cool stuff as it comes up. But for right now, I just want to say that this is my favorite chapter of the game. Now, we've only got a certain amount of time. I've only got a certain amount of time I can do this stream. And I got delayed about an hour before we could start it. So let's just get started right now. Pick up right where we left off in the last stream. And let's get to it. And I'll give the behind-the-scenes information as we come in. Hopefully, people will be coming in and we'll be able to play as they come in. But for right now, it's just me.
But under the influence
as you can
of
see,
the
we're
drug
right
he
where we
had
left
given me,
off.
I had to fight not to believe his words.
It's all in your head. You've been making it up. Apart from the tragic accident with your wife, no one has been killed. Your delusions are just a manifestation of your subconscious mind trying to protect you from the too painful truth. Unless we fight the fantasy, it will return. I know the instinct is to resist me, but think about it. Doesn't this make far more sense than the insane supernatural conspiracy you have concocted in your mind? You're a skeptic by nature, Alan. We both know this. Everything can be explained logically.
All right, I know Hartman's going to talk here a lot, so I don't know what I really want to say just yet. But a couple of behind-the-scenes informations. We are here at the lodge. Right now, in case you're curious where we are staying, this is the lodge that was overlooking Crater Lake. That's Crater Lake below. Obviously, we can't see Alan's house from here, or where he was staying from here, because it's probably back in the middle of the lake for right now. But yeah, this is it. This lodge actually does exist in real life, or at least a place like it exists in real life. It, as far as I know, is actually a place for just regular people. It's like a hotel or something. It's not a place for therapy or things like that. It's an actual just lodge for travelers and stuff like that. It's overlooking the real life Crater Lake. Now, as for Hartman, I got some stuff I want to say about him really quick, but take a look at this sundial. You can see the time on the sundial. I want to read this right here. Behind the shadow you set up for, there's a miracle illuminated. It's marked TZ, in the memory of a dear friend and a poet. Is that Thomas Zane? It's Thomas Zane. Hartman knew Thomas Zane. He knows what's going on.
I never get tired of this view. Very inspiring, isn't it?
Cauldron Lake spread below us. I could see Mirror Peak on the other side of the lake. I thought I could make out the spot where Diver's Isle had been when I arrived with Alice. Now there was nothing but waves.
It seems there's a storm coming. Funny, I don't recall there being a mention of that in the weather forecast. Well, no matter. This way. Follow
I
me.
do like how the light just changed dramatically all of a sudden
Alan,
as we
what
got
I'm
out here.
telling you is good news. Right now we're in control. Every time you have a relapse, it gets more and more difficult to resurface from the dark depths of your imagination. Not surprising, considering your profession. Imagination is what you work with. After all your nightmares, this should come as an immense relief to you. If it doesn't, why is that? Because I'm lying? Or because you don't want to admit that you're not well? It's very natural for you to think of me as your enemy. It's part of
I
the
let him
illness.
talk.
After all,
Hartman
I'm
obviously
the one
loved his
trying
own
to bring
voice.
you out
His
of the
words
world you've
echoed
constructed
madly
for
inside my
yourself.
head.
But
I dug my
can't
nails
do
into
it
the
by
palms of my
myself.
hands to stay
You
focused.
need to work with me. Once you accept that, we can begin the journey towards your recovery.
Now, originally this location
on,
was going to have a
let's
much
go
bigger impact on the story itself. If I remember correctly, the original design document for this game put Alan as a troubled writer who had already lost Alice before the story even started, and he would have had to have come to a place like this because without Alice, he couldn't write. And so he comes to a place like this, and he meets someone that looks exactly like Alice, a nurse basically working here. And essentially what happened is that this inspires him. He's inspired again. Is this Alice? Is this not Alice? Is this someone else? I don't think they ever made it clear exactly. But what essentially would have happened is that I think she was supposed to be Dr. Hartman's wife in the original design document. At least this Alice doppelganger was supposed to be Dr. Hartman's wife, or working as an assistant to him, or something along those lines. Alan starts writing again, but he starts having nightmares. He's able to sleep, but he starts having nightmares, not regular dreams. And then he starts writing his nightmares, and then terrible things start happening. I don't think they ever explained what the end of that design document was going to be, but that would have been a possibility for one of the versions of the Alan Wake story.
Here's the entrance
but
to the
as it
office
stands,
wing.
Alice
That's
is not
for
here.
Staff only. You were impressed by my trophies when you first arrived here. I do love to hunt. The great outdoors, man versus nature. It's wonderful stuff.
Pretty damn wonderful, yeah.
I could make a Ace Ventura joke, but I won't just yet.
Scary, scary.
Emerson.
I'm a real bad dream, mister. You should be afraid of me. Don't want to run into me in the night, that's for sure.
Please, Emerson. Mr. Wake is confused enough as it is.
Yeah, you'd like me to go away so you won't be scared. But you can't just decide what kind of dream you have or when you have it.
Emerson.
That's true.
Okay. Sorry. Boo.
That's Emerson. We're actually making some progress with him, I'm happy to say. He works on video.
I love the motion capture they do with him.
Trash, of course, but it does involve
Get
some
him to the head.
small creative effort, which makes him receptive to my therapeutic methods.
No kidding.
Alright, hopefully I'll be able to see this guy. There's a little Easter egg over here. Hopefully I can cue this up.
Oh, hello. I've painted you.
Okay.
I was just struck by inspiration a couple of days ago. Dr. Hartman wanted me to paint landscapes, and that's what I was doing. But now I've been doing these things, a lot of them. The images just keep coming. Dr. Hartman likes them. He has them in his office.
Yeah?
He's very proud of me. He says I'm getting much better. I think I'm getting better.
We're going to talk more about this guy in just a little bit as we get closer to this.
I guess I'd better start wrapping this up. The storm is almost here. Look at that. I'd hate to be out there tonight.
But the idea behind this guy is obviously, I don't know if he's ever met me before, and here he is painting me. So what my understanding is that this is supposed to show that the lake seems to have other, it affects everybody differently, if you will. It affected Alan the way it did, but it affected this guy like this. So depending upon what your skills are, what your creativity is, you could be a writer, you could be a painter, you could be a video game developer. Basically it all works differently. Can I go up here? See if I can go up here. Oh, I can go up here right now. I don't remember if there is
Hartman
anything
had
up
mentioned
here.
that the power had been acting up. Maybe that was the reason for the generator and the work light on the balcony. The generator hadn't been activated, and there was no key.
So the generator doesn't work. Oh, here's the last one of those M tags, or one of the last versions of the M tags. You guys are welcome to use it if the M tag even still works, but I don't know if they still work or not. I'm curious if Verizon kept them up and running. They might have. They might still be functional. That TV doesn't work. Well, we'll just move on a little bit. That's the outside. It's posted for the creator's dilemma. So this is the same guy. Just to make it clear, you remember that you had this book in the back of Alice's car. She had read his book. This is the same guy. So the book does exist. So there's still a question here is Hartman telling the truth? Is this real? Is this all a product of Alan's imagination?
Now,
Hartman's saying it is.
You might have noticed the typewriter in your room. You've been writing as a part of the therapy. As soon as you feel up to it, you should continue.
Engagement therapy and its sister work the flow. All right, let's go in here. Oh, the Anderson brothers. That's where they were staying.
Rheumatism's killing me. There's a storm coming. Oh, what a storm.
Night Springs, the board game. We will be doing a board game review on my YouTube channel very soon, guys. I have a board game lined up.
Anderson brothers, Odin and Thor. They had a, how should I put this? A heavy metal band in the 70s and 80s called Old Gods of Asgard. They even adopted new first names to complete the image of Viking gods. After the band broke up, they lived on a farm nearby. They are, well, in advanced stages of dementia. They're well cared for, TLC and all that. There's nothing more that can be done.
That is true. There
I'm
really is no
afraid
therapy
that
for
the
dementia in
rock and
real
roll
life.
Lifestyle has left its mark.
But is this really dementia caused by the partying lifestyle, or is this something else?
I'm so sorry to cut this short for now, Alan. The power has been acting up. I'd better go check on it. We'll continue this soon. Meanwhile, when you feel up to it, return to your room and try to write. It really is for the best. Don't you think?
Notice he's got that little...
Like
I do remember punching him in the face earlier.
Oh, he'd love to fish out our secrets, but he has no clue. He's not crazy enough. Not crazy like us, Sonny. Yeah! Being crazy's a requirement, Sonny. Who else could understand the world when it's like this? It takes crazy to know crazy.
That's the sanest thing I've heard in a while.
Zane! You're all right, Tom. Hey, we like him, don't we, bro? He's got to go to the farm.
The Anderson Farm. Valhalla!
We wrote it all down, lest we'd forget. A crash course. All you need to know to get your head right. You need to find the message.
Here, Sonny, here's something for you. Gave me a rash, but I kept it safe from these bastards.
Manuscript page.
My head was clearing up, or according to Hartman, I was sinking back into the fantasy. I was convinced he was lying to me about everything. Crazy or not, the Andersons made more sense.
Notice how the Andersons refer to him as Tom Zane. They think he's Thomas Zane. His name, Thomas Zane, just keeps appearing. I will explain that, don't worry.
Well, he's the boss.
I may need a hand here later on, Birch. The storm's bound to make you-know-who jumpy. You know how they get.
Gotcha. The doc's got me looking after Wake here, but holler if they get too rowdy.
I'll do that, Birch.
Hey, Wake, why don't you humor Dr. Hartman and give the writing a shot, huh? Typewriter's in your room. You can get to your room by those stairs, Wake.
All right, fair enough. I'll take the stairs. I could have taken the elevator, but no, you want me to take the stairs. I thought I was an important writer.
Something's wrong. I'm not myself. It's hard to think that there's a shadow inside my head. I can only focus on writing. Everything else is a blur. I'm trapped in this cabin. Have been for days, but it's always dark outside. My editor is real. I saw her again. She's not human. It's not human. A dark presence is wearing the old woman's face. She was covered in clinging shadows. There's a hole in her chest where her heart should be. I think I've made a horrible mistake. I don't think I'm any closer to saving Alice. It's been lying to me, using me to get the story it wants, and the story will come true.
Now he's starting to remember what happened to him during that week. Maybe this is all real. Maybe this is really happening. Well, we don't know for sure yet, but we're going to find out pretty soon. All right, they told me to go right, so let's go in here and let's write. How you been, Revan? It's good to see you back.
The glare of the blank page in front of me hurt my eyes. My hands began to shake uncontrollably.
Everybody, calm down. Put that down. Bert, I need help.
Hey, Wake, you stay here. I'm gonna go see what's up. You just keep doing what you're doing. Be cool, okay?
I didn't know what the chaos was all about, but it could be my only chance of getting out of here.
I think the Andersons kind of started a little bit of a riot.
Here's a friendly poke from Mjolnir.
brothers, are ya? Not so weak now.
Yeah, it looks like, it sounds like the Andersons have started a riot. Let's go check on them. Now, it's kind of ironic that they're called Tor and
Sinclair
Odin,
looked bad.
and one of
That
them's
wasn't
carrying a
right.
hammer while it happens to
Crazy
be
old
fake.
fart hit her hard. And if she was one of Hartman's goons, she had it coming. I had to get to Hartman's office. He had taken all my manuscript pages. That's where he'd been keeping them.
Thanks, guys.
Come out and face the music, Birch. It's time.
I'm gonna go, like I said, I remember saying in like Act 1 how awesome that the Anderson brothers are. That's why. Alright. Let's go check on
The
Hartman's.
photo on the wall caught
Yep.
my attention. In it, the clinic staff was standing outside the lodge. I knew the man next to Hartman. He was the kidnapper. Hartman had been playing me all along.
Alright, let me give you a couple of Easter eggs before we go check on some of this stuff. Now, if you look here, let's grab this manuscript page. Remember how the guy said that he was working on landscapes and stuff like that? He started drawing stuff. This is some more of his work. Now, obviously, Hartman hasn't put all this stuff up yet probably because this guy has been doing this very short notice. So I don't blame Hartman for not having these up just yet.
With his patients.
A lot of posters here. It takes a while to frame to hang this stuff.
I couldn't breathe right.
Okay, let's right here. This is a little Easter egg. This will explain what Hartman's been up to.
Can you tell me about Alan's problems?
He's more and more out of control all the time. The parties, he's so angry all the time. He's getting violent.
Do you mean with you?
No, not with me. No, never. Sometimes I almost wish Alan would take a swing at me, because at least that'd lead to a conversation he couldn't just march out of. But no. Alan doesn't really sleep. And the work, well, he's not writing at all. He sits there for hours and just gets more and more frustrated. And I can't talk to him.
Yes. Tell me, Mrs. Wake. What would you say to him if he'd listen?
I don't know. I want to say, I look at you, and it's not you. Just some stranger who resembles you. Looking out from behind your eyes. And I don't like that guy much. And now it's all gonna go to hell.
But you don't ever say this.
No. I've tried, but he's not listening. He's too deep in his own problems. Always going on about something else. I'm so afraid I'm gonna lose him. And we're not even talking anymore. He doesn't let me in anymore. He just keeps me in the dark. I'm so alone here, even when he's home. Please help me, Doctor, because I'm at my wit's end.
Well, if you can just get him here, I'll absolutely do my very best.
Yeah, but Doctor, you need to be careful with him. He's not just going to listen to you and cooperate. He's the most stubborn man I've ever met.
Well, I'll be sure to bear that in mind.
Hearing her voice, what she was saying made me happy and sick and guilty all at once. Worst of all, I recognized the words. The phone call from her. It had been a cut-up of this. Just a recording.
So Mott never had Alice. He was just using it as a threat because Hartman probably wanted the manuscript pages. Hartman is interested in this. He has an investment in this, and this is the evidence of the connection between the two. So that tape is where we... Remember how we got that phone call and Mott was saying, oh, I'm going to do terrible things to your wife, but you've heard her voice now, so that means that she's here? You know, that's where that came from her conversations with Hartman, which meant that Hartman is involved. Almost like Hartman's trying to play this at his own angle or try to twist this. He knows what's going on. He's just going to twist this to his own end. Now, here's a little Easter egg right here because I don't know how much I want to play these, but there are more tapes here that do explain a couple of things. This one right here is talking about the artist we met earlier.
He's producing extraordinary work, increasingly dark pieces.
Revit, if you want to say anything while these are going on, I kind of want to play some of these tapes. So if you want to say anything, go right ahead. Ask any questions or make any comments. Did you hear that there is going to be a new Life is Strange? A day after we had that conversation about Life is Strange 2, they announced Life is Strange 2.
Are informative. At least he's easily controlled and useful. I wish I could say the same about Wake. It's frustrating that the best subjects are always so damn difficult to deal with.
So that is his comments about the artist, and some of this is concept art. I know these art pieces themselves were done by the Remedy staff. I can't for the life of me think of who it was. Some of this stuff ended up as concept art, or was originally concept art for the earlier portions of the game, like this one, for example. I remember that. Just so you guys know, and I'm not spoiling anything because they didn't go this way, but some of the original Taken were supposed to be like elementals or have elemental powers, like powers of fire, powers of lightning, that sort of thing, basically. And this is are an adaptation of one of those concept pieces. They all ended up in the Alan Wake Illuminated behind-the-scenes book. I think the reason why they probably didn't go with it, this is just my take on it, don't quote me on this, or you can't quote me as saying it, but don't quote me as that this is Remedy's idea. This is just why I think they may not have gone with it, and I agree why they wouldn't have gone with it. If you've ever played the original BioShock, you remember that some of the enemies in BioShock would dress up in like environmental clothing to make them look more one with nature, if you will, especially when you're coming to areas like the Arboretum and stuff like that, the forests. And when I looked at the concept art that they were going with, it made them look a lot like the enemies in BioShock. And again, that's just my take on it. They obviously didn't go with it, so, you know, props. And that might have had something to do with it.
I'm buying that. I was tailing Wheeler, and this is the only place he could have gone. That means Wake is probably there, too.
Agent Nightingale, this is private property, and I will not allow you to disturb my patients.
Yeah? I can get a warrant. How'd your fragile little patients like that?
Oh, I'm thoroughly intimidated by your mighty authority now, Agent.
Listen, you smug snob. How would you like it if I busted through this gate and knocked you around a little?
Agent Nightingale, first of all, I'm recording this conversation, so you might want to watch what you say. Secondly, you're not dealing with a hick now. I know the law, and if you can get a judge to grant a warrant, I'll be glad to cooperate. But you won't get one. Be advised that any further communications with me are to be made through my lawyer.
I don't believe this.
Good day, Agent.
Yeah.
And that, if you listen to all of those, you'll get an achievement in the game. I've already got the achievement, so there's no reason for them to unlock it again. But you got to listen to all those. So basically, Nightingale thinks that he's here. All right, let's go save Barry. He's got to be in here, I'm assuming. Thought I heard him earlier.
Barry?
Barry, you okay? Oh.
Ow! About time!
Barry, man, am I glad to see you. We need to get to Hartman's office.
It's right next door.
You okay?
Yeah. I mean, no! The cops found me at Rose's trailer, but they didn't hassle me too much. I'm obviously a victim in this, and I demanded to be treated as such. Or else I'd sue their asses. Speaking of asses, that Fed gave me a real hard time, but I had no clue where you were. That guy's crazy, Al. But he let me go, and then I get a call from Hartman, that son of a bitch, who tells me you're here, and I should come pick you up, but when I got here, 2 goons clobbered me and stuck me in there.
What's with the cutout?
I stole it from the diner to piss off Rose after what she did to us. That'll teach her.
Yeah, that's a harsh punishment. Come on, pal, we gotta get going.
No Barry Wheeler cosplay is complete without that poster. Usually you'll find Barry Wheeler cosplayers carrying that poster like that around, and I just love them for it. That's like my favorite part of going to conventions, seeing the Barry Wheeler cosplayers carrying around the Alan Wake sign. Okay, well let's see what's in this office. Maybe he's got the rest of the manuscript pages I had on me.
These were all the pages I had on me. And more.
Alan, please. You're sliding back into the...
Tell me one more lie and I'll shoot you in the face.
Ah, well, it was worth a shot. Really, Wake, come on. Let's work together on this. You have no idea...
Hartman, shut up! Barry, get out of here. I'll catch up with you. Get a car.
Oh, Al, let's just...
Go!
Wake, listen to me. This is a mistake. Don't you see? Together we can create something absolutely wonderful. With your ability and mine.
I just noticed that he smiled there. I didn't notice that before. You see Alan smiled? You saw that little smirk in it? I saw that. I just saw that. Oh boy. This isn't good. Now, for those of you guys who are curious, I know for a fact that Hartman actually survived that. How do I know that? Because there is extra material. The Alan Wake Files actually does have an interview with Hartman that took place after the fact. And so we know for a fact that Hartman did survive that. Also, there is a comic strip that was done. Oh boy, I can't go through there. There was a comic strip that had Hartman makes an appearance in. It was not widely circulated, unfortunately. It was only given out to anybody that picked up the Alan Wake Humble Bundle. That doesn't work. And it showed Hartman survive it. So, all right, let's see if I can get this started. I've got the key. So yeah, Hartman does survive that. I think it has to do with the fact that they wanted to. Let's see how much damage this can do. Alright, I'm going to start it one more time. You heard me talk about the sequel to Life is Strange. Hold on one second. I'm going to read this comment out in just a second, guys. Okay, you heard me talk... Okay, this is from Revan. I heard you talk about the sequel to Life is Strange. A bit strange that we talked about it. Sorry for the delay. I have an issue with video stream Tuesday. But I understand there's some server... Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay, Revan. Don't worry about it. It's okay. I'm happy to have you. I'm definitely happy to have you here. I'm grateful to have you, actually. If you must know, I'm totally grateful to have... I'm grateful to have anybody come in here and comment. And that goes for anybody that's watching the after broadcast. You're welcome to join... Oh, boy. Okay, I don't have... I was worried that was going to happen. I have to restart that generator and take out a couple more pieces. I thought more of the pieces were out, but from the looks of it... Alright, I guess I'll have to deal with that. Alright, just keep running. Alright, this is where the Hartman... Oh boy. That should do it. I got a gun. Okay. I didn't notice I had picked up a weapon. Oh, that's right. I had picked up a weapon. I just don't have a, Okay, for those of you guys who are achievement hunters, if you turn this on, you actually get an achievement for it. Now, I know there was a lot of controversy over this achievement at the time because all this does is play commercials. This is just a TV that plays commercials. There's no actual game-related content to it. And by turning it on, you get an achievement. So this was a bit of a controversy back in its day, because I guess because of how overt it was to have this, but I don't know. I'm willing to give it a pass. I don't know why. Maybe I like the developer and I like the game, but maybe if it was a bad game, I'd give it less of a pass. But you can't get through these doors. Yeah, you get an achievement for not using ad block. Exactly. Thank you, Revan. Took the words right out of my mouth. Alright, let's get this door down. I tried so well to get through that, but I got caught up on something. I don't know what I was caught up on. All right, let's do this. I did get the door. All right, I'm out.
Al, I'm here.
This escape is probably one of my favorite parts of the game.
I found the car, but the gate's locked. You're gonna have to go through the hedge maze over there.
Barry, I don't have a light.
Take this, Al. Oh, God! Look at the house, Al! Look out!
Oh boy, that's a lot of enemies. Is that everything? No, there's one more.
Come on, Al! We gotta go! It's not much of a maze! I made it through easy!
Okay, he's actually correct about that. This particular maze we're coming up, this is the hedge maze. And the key to this hedge maze is just basically a little bit of perseverance. From what I was told about from the developers specifically about this maze, they originally had a circular maze in mind. This was actually supposed to be a very difficult maze to get through. When they did some play testing, they realized it wasn't very fun to go through.
Let's get out of here!
All right, let's get some supplies here. We got the checkpoint. Let's move through the maze. Originally, when they were playtesting the maze on the original difficult maze, they found it wasn't very fun. Yeah, you see, it's basically stuff like this. You go one way, it's a dead end. You go the other way, you continue on. Actually, I'm the kind of person that likes to go on dead ends because sometimes you'll usually find goodies. Sometimes you'll find goodies in dead ends. So sometimes I actually like to be the person that checks out dead ends. But the original design document for the game... Ah, boy. That's just gonna jump. Don't trust Emil. That's Hartman. Yeah. Kind of late for that. Hey, that was for anybody that went in the maze. Okay, moving on. So after they did some play testing and they saw how frustrated some people were getting basically trying to get through the game, they decided, or through the maze, they decided to make it a bit easier. And this is actually, after having played it, this is actually quite an enjoyable sequence. I actually do like this maze. So I'm happy they made that decision. I have played through games that have very complicated mazes. There are two off the top of my head. Neither one of them are like really first-person action games or third-person action games that have mazes, although some third-person games I can think of were basically nothing but mazes. But, the two that I can think of is like, you know, complicated mazes or mazes that just weren't fun. One was Brain Dead 13, and the other was Stupid Invaders. So keep that in mind. And ironically enough, I actually have a soft spot for both of those games. They just had mazes where I had to pull up a wall. Although, I could memorize the longest time. I did have the ability, you know, it was brief enough, or the right solution, or a right solution was easy enough to memorize. For Stupid Invaders, forget it. You could not memorize that. So yeah, another thing is also the compass. Oh, manuscript page. Don't want to forget that. Okay, moving on. Yeah, there are goodies in this maze, like I said. Making wrong turns. It's actually a good idea to make wrong turns because, like I said, there can be goodies and stuff, like manuscript pages and collectibles and weapons and ammo and stuff like that. So sometimes it's a good idea to go the wrong way. You can go your own way. See, now we're through. We made it. Oh no! It's the dreaded gazebo! I've always wanted to make that joke. D&D players will know about the story of Eric in the gazebo. I've been playing a lot of D&D recently. Sounds like any normal American healthcare provider. Once again, sounds like every American healthcare provider ever. Crap, I've got more flares. I've got no flares. This guy isn't exactly controlling the birds, but the two of them in tandem are kind of moving. So this is the big guy I saw earlier. Alright, let's do this. Two of them kind of in collusion, and that was the dreaded gazebo. Alright, and of course now I get the flare gun when I don't need it, but really wanted a flare. I didn't need a flare gun, but I'll take it for right now. That guy was, that's the big guy. That was Hartman's big guy, if you will. Alright, let's see if I can get some more supplies on the way back. So whoever's been leaving me notes was certainly here. And I don't see anything else over here, so I'll just move on. Once I get through the vegetation. Oh, maybe there's some goodies in here. Also, having the compass also helps. When you've got the compass, which you guys can see in my upper left-hand corner of the screen, or your upper left-hand corner of the screen, then navigating through this game gets much easier. Wish I had a stronger light source, let me tell you. So Revan, oh boy. Now, for those of you guys who may have been noticing for the last couple of episodes, you'll notice that all the batteries in this game are all marked Energizer batteries, and that's because of sponsorship. I mean, Energizer did sponsor the game, as did other people. Verizon sponsored. There were basically a bunch of sponsorships, and since we just seen that achievement about the sponsorship, I want to talk to you about the irony of having your product featured in a video game, and I think that Energizer certainly got it. You know, by the time the game came out, was because, okay, you're using Energizer batteries in your flashlights and stuff. Look at how fast those batteries last. I'm changing batteries constantly in this game. It's part of, you know, granted they do recharge, as you can see. But let's take a look. Just look for yourself. I mean, these batteries, normal batteries on a flashlight will usually last, from what I've been told, depending on how big the battery is and how powerful the flashlight is, will usually last you a whole night. But in this game, you're constantly changing out new batteries. Now, we've been told by several people that the ability to focus the flashlight like this is something that presented without comment just yet. That's why you buy Varda batteries. I don't even think you can get Varda batteries where I am, but I remember that there were a lot of let's just say trolls. There were a lot of trolls online, and I know that this sort of the mainstream media really was the ones who did this, or I should say the mainstream gaming media, if you can call them that. But they were essentially decided that they were going to troll, so they wrote a lot of articles about. Oh, that's cool. Basically saying, wow, Energizer probably paid Remedy all this money to have their batteries featured in the game, Alan Wake, and the batteries have to be, and this is a game where your batteries have to be replaced constantly. Now, I don't know, and I don't know if Energizer were the ones who took that to heart, or took those trolling articles to heart, but the thing that I get a kick out of is the fact that Energizer chose to no longer sponsor once the DLC came out. In the DLC missions, there are 2 DLC missions for Alan Wake, and both of them are completely free of Energizer batteries. While there are batteries used in those DLC missions, the batteries are generic brand. They're not named. So I wanted to say that to. Is that the trolling, or is that Energizer wising up? I don't know. I don't know what what provoked Energizer's decision to change their mind about it, but that's what happened. All right, let's see how much. All right, this is a 2-round shotgun, and I lost my hunting rifle completely. Oh, I always had a shotgun. I thought I had a hunting rifle. I guess I didn't. You played the DLCs, but you didn't pay any attention to the batteries. You didn't notice that. Well, yeah, it's not noticeable because they're generic brand batteries. But you would have to be looking specifically, do these batteries say Energizer or not? So I can totally understand that you missed it. But I kind of took that in a content under which was Energizer mad at how they were depicted and they decided to cut their ties? Was this simply just, oh, we only gave our sponsorship for this portion, and then the sponsorship expired and we chose not to renew it for whatever reason? That could certainly happen. But if you notice, Verizon did keep their sponsorship. In fact, actually, the line "Can you hear me now?" is used in the first DLC.
Well, I slammed it shut when the nasty showed up, and the key fits kind of loose in the lock, so,
Great.
I'll find it. Don't worry about it.
Thanks, Barry. So while this is going on, we're going to talk a little bit about Hartman. And specifically that Hartman has his own nefarious purposes. What would you do if you knew that whatever could be written could be brought to could be made true? And he has numerous occasions and numerous citations over the years of those kind of events happening. So you can't blame him for believing in this sorcery when I'm sure he's seen it himself. From the looks of it, he knew Tom Zane had done it and had succeeded. These guys keep jumping me from behind. Very unprofessional, guys. If you're gonna hit me from the front. I just love Barry's dialogue here. I'm sure you can basically figure out. Alright, that's my last flare. Although I do have a flare gun, I might as well use it. Did I get everybody? Oh, he's got it. Alright, let's do this.
Tell me we're headed for the nearest "You're now leaving Bright Falls. Come back soon" sign.
We're going to the Anderson farm.
I knew you were gonna say something like that. You know what? You owe me big time for this. When this is through, if we make it, I don't care what anybody says, I'm done with darkness. You're gonna buy me a tanning bed as a gift, and I'm gonna live in it.
Do people like tanning beds in this day and age? Do people still... I know tanning salons are still around. Do people still like them? Tanning beds, I remember, were very, very popular back then.
I'm crazy. but that's fine, Barry.
Oh, you got that right, Al. You're barking mad. You are by far the craziest...
But maybe that's inevitable when you deal with crazy stuff like this. It helps. This is happening, Barry. Alice, they never had Alice. She's trapped in the darkness at the bottom of the lake, but she's not dead.
Al, how can you know that?
I know, Barry. I can...
Al,
No, listen. I can bring her back. I can find her. There's something special about this place. The lake, it does something to the works of art created here. It makes them come true. But there's a catch. The dark presence, whatever that thing is, twists it to its own ends. That's why all of this is happening. It's using my manuscript to take over everything.
Al, I believe you.
It happened to Thomas Zane before, it happened to the Andersons.
I believe you. Crazy or not, you're not delusional. Weird shit's going down. That's a fact. I'm on board, man. I'm with you.
The Andersons knew about it, but they were too far gone to tell me with all the drugs they were on. But they wrote it down. There's a message somewhere at their farm, Barry. We just need to find it.
Look out! Al! God damn it, Al, talk to me!
I'm hurt, but I'm okay.
I lost my gun in the crash. Barry was nowhere to be seen.
Barry! Barry!
Oh, man, you're okay! Jeez, it's good to hear your voice! I was trying to get out of the car, but the ground gave way! Man, what a drop! Don't worry, your cutout is fine.
Forget that! Are you
There he
okay?
is.
I hit some bushes, didn't get a scratch. There's no way you can climb down, though. It's like a sheer wall. Al! There's something moving down here!
Barry, it's a taken! Use a flare, Barry!
Yeah!
Barry, are you alright?
I'm good, Al! I'm great! Guess you never messed with anyone from New York City before, huh?
New York City! There's the farm up there.
You're gonna have to find your way around to the farm, Al! I'll be waiting!
Barry, just wait for me, okay?
Al! I'm not staying here! It's suicide! I'm going to the farm! I'm gonna go ahead and secure the area. You can catch up! Don't worry about it! I'm on the case!
Now he's Rambo. This would turn into a disaster if I didn't catch up with Barry.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about the Andersons since this is a good time for us to talk about them. Now, a little bit of history behind the Andersons. They were a band back in the 70s. They had a lot of success with their rock band. Then they later came down and they... Oh, boy. After they had retired... Oh, boy. I better start. Please tell me there's something in here I can use. Please tell me there's something in here I can use. Oh, there's a manuscript page. This works. That light source might have taken a couple things out too, so. Alright, I'm gonna stop screwing around, I'm just gonna keep moving. I've got no light source. This is a problem. Oh boy. I literally have everything in the forest trying to kill me. Which for any farmer is like a normal day, but still. This would be a lot easier if I had a flashlight and I could run more. Look, I can't run. I've got no stamina left. Granted, I guess they're trying to say that riders really don't know how to run for long periods of time, but still. I need a light source, and I need a powerful one at that.
Shadows crawled over the gate. I needed a light to destroy them to get through.
Okay. All right, we got another manuscript page up here. That's a light. Ow. Alright, let's take out this. Physics, everybody.
I could sense the movement in the woods ahead. Facing the enemy without a weapon was dangerous, but I had no choice.
Trust no one in the dark. Okay. I got a flashlight, so that's something. Hopefully I won't get jumped too much. So, for those of you guys who are interested in hearing more about the Andersons, there's a lot to say about them. They're actually an exciting group to talk about. They were artists. They obviously had their own, and it's implied from the story. Now, not everything is 100%, but there are a couple of references, specifically in the manuscript pages that are left over in the story. Oh, come on. Nice. And I got some batteries. Not too much, but I got something at least. So you're probably asking yourself, well, how were the Andersons affected by the story? Are they, they weren't writers? No, they weren't. They were musicians. And that's still a creative outlet. So it affected them in songs. Okay. Something up here. No. Maybe there was a thermos up there. I can't remember. Alright, let's move on.
A car
Crazy
was driving
Barry.
away from the farm, headed in the same general direction as I was. For all I knew, it was Barry, caught in the consequences of leaping before looking.
Alright, let's do this. Yay, a better flashlight. That's something. Looks like there were a bunch of campers here. They were hiking, and now they're all gone. The fire's still lit. Maybe they're who I'm fighting right now, actually, now that I think about it. I don't know why they'd be camping up here, but I guess because it looks cool.
The car was heading for the cabin up ahead. It wasn't far. If it was Barry, I would see the damage soon.
Okay, let's go see if maybe that's Barry over there. That's just a little way that you can...
I'm trying to deliver each page to the right time and place. I'm trying to show you how the story goes.
I had seen glimpses of the light before. I had seen it in my dream. It was a strange spaceman or a diver in a bulky suit. He was the one who'd been placing the pages on my path.
So that giant light, that blinding light with the voice of James McCafferty, is what is... Wait, what's romantic? Revan, can you clarify on what part was romantic, or what specifically you were saying romantic about? Out. And that's what happens when you get caught in a bear trap, guys. Oh, the place where the campers was. Okay. Oh, I forgot I don't have a weapon. drop that for right now.
Someone had left a gun behind. Now I had a fighting chance of reaching the farm.
Alright, we got a safe haven. Well, it does make sense. If you're going to go out in untamed wilderness, I know that these guns lying around may seem irresponsible, but for all we know, these guns were basically left by the people that I am now fighting. Once the Taken takes you, you've got no facility anymore. You're basically just going to up and leave and go do your own thing, essentially. And you have no control, and you can't be rescued, and you can't be saved. There's a bear trap up here, but not really much else. Alright, let's just go. More traps. At least I got something that I can use to fight. Are you, I mean, how do I put this? I could totally understand, like I said, I've had some wilderness survival training. I've done stuff like this, where I've been out camping for a couple of days in the woods. As you can see, the woods, they're not affected by the traps. They just walk right over the traps, or glide over the traps, if you will. No, we never really had to worry about traps or anything. Alright, I'm running. They're not going to follow me past this light source. That's it. I only had 6 rounds left on my shotgun, so...
I could see the car, but there was no sight of the driver.
Okay. Let's see whose house this is. I have heard stories where, depending upon where you are, I know it's illegal to break into a person's house.
Anybody here? Barry!
No! Danny, you're not! Please! What are you? No! Don't! I'm sorry!
That's not Barry. That's not Barry screaming.
The front door was locked.
Whoever that driver was, it definitely wasn't Barry, but he mentioned a Danny. Could this be the town drunk?
I know you. You were in jail the other day.
I
Let me just take all these rounds.
to the farm again for the moonshine, you know. It makes you see. They're not gonna miss it. They're in the loony bin. But my buddy, Danny, I lost him. Something's gone wrong with him. It's not him. Like a real bad follow-up to a real good movie. The best friend's suddenly the bad guy who wrote this crap anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Lake's writing. That was a fourth wall break there. That was so big. I think that just tore down not only the wall, I think that tore down 3 other walls. But I loved it. That was the town drunk we met earlier in Chapter 2. And he was talking about Danny. I think Danny was taken. He said he came for the moonshine.
I've run through every possible course in my head. If I continue like the Dark Presence wants me to, the story I'm writing won't save Alice. It's a horror story, and it's going to kill her, and me, and everybody in this town. No one will survive. Darkness will consume everything. This is what it's wanted all along. It will be free, unstoppable. It used Alice to get to me, dangled her in front of me to keep me going. It was never going to release her. I'm going to change this. I'll escape. I've written myself into the story. I'm now the protagonist. This feels like a terrible risk, but it's the only way to save Alice. I'll be bound by the events of the story just as much as anyone else who's been woven into it. The story must stay true for this to work. There have to be victims along the way, near escapes, cliffhangers. In a horror story, it can't be certain that the hero will succeed or even survive. He almost has to die. I'll write my own escape into the story next. I need help. Zane's going to be the one who will help me. I'll make it happen.
And there's your answer, guys. Or part of it. He needed help from Thomas Zane. And that's why this is going on. We'll know more in a little bit. I don't want to spoil too much. I don't want to give too much information there. The game is doing a pretty good job. But as for what Revan said earlier about me not helping the guy up there, yeah, there's a reason for that. Oh, crap. It's because I used to save. There's just no saving him. Sorry.
Guess. Danny, huh?
That was Danny. Okay, there's no getting out that way, but I'll try to get out this way.
Was still a good distance away. I'd need a car to get there fast.
Well, there's some stuff in here, some supplies and stuff. So, depending on where you are in the world, it can be if you're basically in a survival situation where you're basically going to live or die because of exposure or something along those lines. It is possible to commandeer a lodge or a cabin or something that you can find. If that is the means to survive. I don't know if that is how it is here in the United States, but I do like watching the documentaries from my survivor man Les Stroud, and he talked about that sort of thing, so we'll keep it that way. There is a coffee thermos in the outhouse. It's not here because I've already collected it, but that's a good place to check. Let's see if there's anything useful in the front. Nope, manuscript page. There it is. Where is it? Oh, it's on the front floor. Okay, we got it. Cool beans. Let's move on. The fastest way to get around is by this truck, so we're going to take the truck. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to want it back.
He was probably in trouble down at the farm. For a moment, I felt bad for doubting him. After all, I made it this far myself. But Barry was Barry.
Well, Barry is Barry. That's why we like Barry. Barry is Barry. Okay, there are a couple of ways to get over there, but there are a couple of goodies on the way too. So I kind of want to grab the goodies before we head over to the final destination. And there are some goodies in this trailer, so we're gonna, or this cabin, so we'll check there. Now, I can't remember if all of these cabins are all owned by the Andersons. If all this land is owned by them, I honestly can't remember. But it's kind of cool if it was. They certainly had the money to buy all this land. Alright, so I get some extra flashbangs. Trust me, I'm going to need them. There's nothing up here. All the goods are on the first floor, so there's nothing up here, really. So what are you thinking of the stream so far, Revan? All right, let's grab this one. This might be a little bit easier to drive. Kind of want to go check out the watchtower point right now. All right, let's go check the watchtower, see if there's anything up here that's useful. This is not really an easy chapter if you're not properly supplied, so we're going to get supplied really quick. Okay, I'm definitely going to the hunting rifle.
Well, as I'm sure everyone's noticed, that storm we all felt coming is finally here. The boys at the Weather Service reckon it'll last until morning at the very least. Pertaining to that, let me read that missing persons alert again. The Sheriff's Department's still looking for a Caucasian woman, 30 years old, slim and blonde with blue eyes. She may be lost in the woods, and it's possible she's been injured in a car accident. If you see her, please make sure you get her indoors and call the sheriff. It's bad weather to be caught out in, so if you see someone in the area who maybe looks a little confused, give them a hand, all right? This is Pat Maine on KBF.
That's Alice he's talking about.
Safe and warm tonight.
So there's still a search for Alice. They haven't found her. Oh, you're annoyed about the buffering. I'm sorry about that. There's nothing I can do on this end either. In fact, that's why in fact, I intentionally decided to hold off the stream and delay the stream an hour because for some reason that completely escapes me, Microsoft decided to release and I'm not kidding about this, a nearly 30 gig patch for Halo Wars 2 today. Or recently. And because of that, I didn't want to start the stream while I was doing the patch in the background, because I thought that would affect my my bandwidth. So I'm sorry about that, Revan. That's that middle road I was talking about. Yeah, I saw earlier. I'm trying to remember if there was something. I know there's like something up here. At it? No. I saw something up here. Hold on. It's like a machine or something. Here it is. Let me check this. Trying to remember. No, there's no manuscript page. There might have been a thermos on that at one point. Thought there might have been. I thought there might have been a manuscript page on it. Sometimes when they make landmarks like that or unusual oddities, it usually has to do with the fact that there's going to be a manuscript page or some other type of collectible on it. So, well, we've pretty much got this whole area cleared out, so let's move on. Let's see if we can find Barry. Oh boy. I do not want to know what this guy's insurer is going to tell me after this. So what do you say we just move on and not speak of this again? Because I don't want to deal with those insurance companies. Oh, it's just a problem with video streams in Europe. From what you heard, some servers are down. Twitch, for example, some streams work, some don't. It's been going on for 3 days now. I did not know about that. I was thinking about doing Twitch streaming. I've been planning on getting back into Uncharted 4, actually, on Twitch. That's going to probably be my next stream. And I did some work to prep for that the other day. And I thought that maybe I was going to do like an Uncharted 4 stream today instead of doing Alan Wake. But because I had left the last one on a cliffhanger, I didn't feel comfortable, you know, and plus I had done some Uncharted gaming the other day. So I really didn't want to double up on Uncharted, especially given the fact that I thought that a lot of my viewers were really enjoying Alan Wake. you also, including you, of course, Revan. I hope you've been enjoying it, certainly. And I kind of wanted to finish this off before I go to Uncharted 4, but I do want to go back to Uncharted 4. Or, yeah, I want to play Uncharted 4. Okay, so I'm not having... I guess it's in here. The dots were saying that there's something going on. Is it in here? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Supplies! You always use supplies. I think I have enough supplies for right now. That's a big guy. These guys are harder to take down on other difficulties, so... Okay, we're coming on my favorite part of the game, guys. I don't really know if I want to say anything just yet. I really don't want to say anything just yet. But this is my favorite part of the game.
I'd known the brothers used to be some kind of rock stars, but it hadn't really sunk in until I saw the stage.
Spider-Man is Nathan... Tom Holland is Nathan Drake? I did not know that.
Ow! Run! Incoming! There's too many of them!
God damn!
I'm so glad you decided to go it alone, Mr. Bronson.
Shut up and shoot!
You are listening to the Old Gods of Asgard playing their song.
Hold on! I'll try to get the stage lights on!
There we go. Now I got a heavy duty one. Perfect. Kidding me. Back. Alright, this should heal me.
Why do you keep doing this to me? Please, please, please.
Tell me I got some. Oh. Those pyrotechnics did something. So yeah, this song is called Children of the Elder God. It's done by, officially it's been done by the Old Gods of Asgard. But in reality, this has actually been done. This song was actually performed in its entirety by Poets of the Fall. You might remember as the band that made the song. God, now my brain is just not working. It's so caught up in this. Well, I'll give my citation. There are a couple of nods. Shotgun. That works. Crap. I only got a half a heal. Hey, Kajar, welcome. Why do they go with Tom Holland? If you ask me, I think Tom's a little too young to do like a Nathan Drake. It's just my opinion, but maybe it's just me. Rock on! And as you know, the power of rock destroys all that's in front of it. Those are words to live by, ladies and gentlemen. Those are truly words to live by.
Awesome!
Bright Falls, rock and roll capital of America.
I mean, I know that Jack Black was the one. Yeah, you think he's too young. For a young Nathan, you don't know, but it's announced he's going to play Nathan Drake. Can I be honest with you, Revan, if we could just take a step back for a second? Yeah, Kajar is one of my other subscribers. Kajar, Revan, Kajar. Well met, obviously. No, and this is nothing against Tom Holland whatsoever. This is completely against Sony Pictures. My problem is that Sony Pictures is basically being run by idiots right now. And I'm citing that based upon the fact of what they've been saying, what they've been doing, and the movies that they've been releasing, which have all been bad. So that's management. After a while, like one bad movie, that's the fault of the director. If you have a string of bad movie after bad movie after bad movie, that's not the director's fault. That's division management's fault. And in this case, there are two people in charge at Sony that are complete idiots that don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're basically running the company into the ground. The only thing that's been holding them up has been the PlayStation division. The movie studios have been tanking as of recently. So this announcement has been a long time coming. They've been talking about doing an Uncharted story for years now. They've been talking about doing a full Uncharted movie. I'm not kidding. This is not an exaggeration. There have been plans to do an Uncharted movie for quite a few years. They've gone through different directors. They've gone through different writers. I know most people probably remember Joe Carnahan as a possible writer. He's not the only person that they had at one point. I remember Joe Carnahan from doing one of the BMW films. It was pretty good. I thought his BMW film was actually really good. But the one that I'm sure that most people don't remember, and they should, was the one done by the guy that directed Three Kings. And by the way, I like Three Kings. Three Kings is one of my favorite movies of all time. And his take on it was he wanted to do a Bobby De Niro, Joe Pesci movie where they're traveling around the world doing all kinds of treasure hunting. That's not Uncharted. Okay? That's not Uncharted. If you want to make a Bobby De Niro, Joe Pesci movie, I would go see that. But it's not an Uncharted movie. That's nothing to do with Uncharted. That's a different type of movie. So I had after that was announced, and this was years ago. This was decades ago. It became clear to me that they really that when it's going to come to the Uncharted story, the people that were going to be in charge of it were really just they had no idea what they were talking about. And I know that some of the people might have been, I remember Carnahan at one point, and I don't blame Carnahan for this, but I think that Carnahan at one point did say that Naughty Dog was on board with his take, and then Naughty Dog's people said no, we had no input on this. And I don't blame Carnahan for making that statement. I really don't. He seemed very sincere. So that told me that probably Sony management was lying to him that Naughty Dog was okay with the take because they could. Maybe to make him feel better, I don't know. But, or to make him feel more at ease with his take on it. Oh, I missed that. Can I go back and get it? Let's see. There's a manuscript page over there. I want to see if I can grab it. So, I mean, I guess you could say after those two botched attempts, I really had very low expectations. And again, I don't blame Tom Holland. I thought he was great in Civil War. I think he'll be a fine Spider-Man. I think he really was the right choice. And by the way, it wasn't Sony that picked Holland, by the way. I want to make that clear. For the Spider-Man movie and for the picking of Spider-Man, Sony management actually in reality had very little to do with it. The Russo brothers, the guys who directed the last two Captain America movies and that are going to direct the next two Avengers movies, were the ones who casted Tom Holland. So you can't say, well, Sony made the decision to go with Tom Holland for their movies.
No worry. Your cutout's good as new, right
That's
where
not true.
I left it. I'll come back for it once we have the place secured.
Yeah, that's been my biggest worry all this time. We need to get this thing moved out of the way.
This is as far as I got before they ambushed me.
Yeah, Tom Hardy as Venom, that's Sony. Sony made that decision themselves because they actually have control over Venom. They have creative control over most everything in the Spider-Man universe. Mostly the exterior characters. Right now, because they made a deal with Marvel has some creative control over Spider-Man themselves and some of the Spider-Man characters, as well as obviously they have control over the characters they have the control over, like Iron Man and stuff like that. But most of the other extra characters, like the Black Cat, or Venom, or Carnage, or some of the other members of the Spider-Man family, the Silver Sable, for example.
Hey, I think
right.
Alan Wake here has something to say. What's that, Al?
Ooh, I'm Alan Wake. I'm always right about everything. And if I don't get my way, I'll sulk all day long. I'm always intense and moody. It makes me very attractive and mysterious. Right now, I'm just standing here because I need my best friend Barry to carry me. But that's okay. I can just take him for granted.
I think I see what you did there.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
You want me to do my imitation of Barry Wheeler?
Okay, I don't know what just happened. I think I got clipped on something and I died. Oh, I'm all the way back here? Seriously? I'm sorry about that, guys. I guess I clipped through some geometry and it killed me. Unusual that kind of thing happens, but with this game, with the platforming the way it is, occasionally you can die on the platforming or clip through something. So I'm really sorry about that. We'll have to do that sequence again, but I won't show that moment. Yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing. There has been speculation as to what's going on over at Sony with the Sony's universe. Basically, a lot of people are crying foul about it. I don't really want to.
No reason to worry.
I don't really want to make my say on it because my research on it has been done by a YouTube channel called Midnight's Edge.
That's been my biggest worry all this time.
If you want to hear their speculation about it, and I do agree with their speculation, I don't want to reiterate it here because I think that they did some very good research about that. If you want to hear what their take on it is, I totally recommend checking out the YouTube channel Midnight's Edge and looking up their recent review on or their recent take on Spider-Man news. But they kind of have their own opinion as to why there is going to be a Venom movie coming out. And they also have, basically, I'll just make the short of it. The short of it is essentially that the guy who's contracted to play Spider-Man for this movie has been contracted for 6 movies. And 3 of those movies have already, 3 of those movies are going to be for Marvel, and 3 of those movies are going to be for Sony.
Want me to do my imitation of
now,
Barry Wheeler?
one of those movies has already been made. It's Captain America: Civil War. And 2 of those movies are already in development. It's the next 2 Avengers movies. Those have already been set. He's already contracted for those. For Sony, one of those has already been set. It's already been made, and that's, of course, Spider-Man: Homecoming. For the next one, it's likely going to be Spider-Man: Homecoming 2. But then there's no other movie. There's no other movie that's at least not been announced that that Tom Hiddleston is going to do.
Look at all this stuff. They must have done okay for themselves, so how come I never heard of these guys before?
And this from the guy who learned about Ozzy Osbourne through reality TV?
Oh,
right, yeah.
Springs. Man, brings back memories. Hey, remember when I got you that gig? Your first real writing job. What got you started? Was this one of your episodes?
Vice versa. In Night Springs. Tonight's episode. The Dream of Dreams.
That's by someone else.
Okay. Now, for those of you guys who remember me playing Alan Wake's American Nightmare a couple months ago. Okay, I didn't mean for this to devolve into a a Marvel Cinematic Universe story, but I'm fine with that. I'm actually okay with that. A couple of comments. I just got, like I said, we don't know what I don't have proof of this. This is just speculation, but there has been a major concern that because Tom Hiddleston is contracted for three Sony movies, and we already know which Marvel movies he's gonna do. Because they're already set, the concern is that Sony may pull that actor back and do a Spider-Man movie without Marvel. Now, there's no absolute evidence of this. This is just a concern that people have based on recent comments by Sony management.
Almost like a battering ram.
It's okay, Revan. You don't have to worry about deviating. It's okay. That's a little Easter egg right there for you guys. And once again, my town and my state and my city are absolutely nowhere near this list. So, I just want to make a... Yeah, sorry, it's okay. But I just want to make that concern clear. For those of you guys... we can move this thing. Can we move it? I think we made it, guys. Coming. Okay, I think I've got everybody now. So that's the concern right now that's been going on. I am looking forward to Spider-Man Homecoming. I am looking forward to Avengers Infinity War 1 and 2. I'm really looking forward to all of that. I will go see it. And I do believe that it... We got somebody. Oh, we got somebody quick over here. Guy sneaky. That got him. Kajar, I think you're thinking of Justice League. Kajar is telling me that he thinks Infinity War is now only one film. I think you're thinking of Justice League. I think you might have it confused with Justice League. As far as I know, Infinity War is still going to be split into 2 films. But Justice League was originally going to be 2 films as well. And they, after what happened with Batman vs. Superman, they decided to cut it and just make it just 1 film. There will probably be a sequel to it, but they didn't break it into 2 films. I think that I don't know if that's going to help or hurt Justice League. We don't know for sure. Oh, another one of these chairs. Let me tell you, Neo, about the Matrix. Ah! You know, if I'm smart, yeah. I did not do that smart. I wanted to do it smart, but I did not do that smart. What I wanted to do was hurt this guy with this. Unfortunately, he would not let me hurt him. Alright, that did it. No, I think you're thinking of Justice League, Kajar. But no matter, it's okay. Not a big deal. Whether Infinity War is set up for 1 movie or 2 movies, I'll still go see it. I think that the Marvel movies have universally been good. And even when they haven't been like 100% great, like fantastic, groundbreaking, they've at least been enjoyable to watch. So, all right, there's a little bit of a thing I want to make a reference to that's coming up that we're going to see here. Okay, so for the chairs, you just said you saw the first episode, the new Twin Peaks, and there was no red chair in the new episode of Twin Peaks. That doesn't mean there's not going to be more chairs.
You know what, Al? If we make it through this alive, I'm going to start representing them. Yep, sell this stuff online, maybe get a reality show going, release a new single.
Good luck with that, pal.
Hey, you find us a way out of here, okay? I'm going to take a closer look at this stuff.
Now, for those of you guys who might have seen my Let's Play of Alan Wake's American Nightmare, you know that he does follow through with that. He does, once Alan, after the events of what happens here, Barry actually does become a touring manager for the Old Gods of Asgard, where they do release a new single, actually. Now, you'll notice here, this is a distillery. This is definitely a component of what you would normally have in order to distill moonshine. And as you can see, it's active. Now, we know that Danny Ann is now dead, you know, and his drunkard friend were responsible for checking this stuff out. We're coming here to drink this. Now, from what I've known, only from what I know from watching the show Moonshiners, which is another reason why I think that this should be legal, or for personal consumption at least. Making alcohol or distilling alcohol for personal consumption should be legal. For personal consumption. Okay, where is the key? Should be a key or something around here. I don't see the door. Oh, door. There it goes. A little hard to see. But we got it. I think those chairs are a reference to the Matrix, Revan. But you're probably wondering, well, is it the moonshine? Is the moonshine a big deal? Why am I talking about the moonshine so much? Yeah, again, I don't drink, but this is the reason why I'm bringing up the moonshine, is because it does reference in the manuscript pages the source of where the moonshine came from. The Anderson brothers had used unfiltered water from the lake. Revan, I don't want to repeat that because I'm worried about spoilers. So if I don't bring it up, but I kind of don't want to. I don't want to say that over the chat because I don't want to spoil it for anybody that might want to go see it. So if I don't mention it, I see it. I think it's cool, but I don't want to say it out loud. But
I'm good. Keep your eyes open, okay?
So we think what happened is that because they were drinking the moonshine and because the drunk, we saw how it affected the drunk. You know, he says that moonshine, it makes you see stuff. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. Hold on, let's see. I've already got a heavy-duty lantern, so I'm not going to need another one.
As you regular listeners know, I tend to work through the night, but I'm not the only one. Deputies Mulligan and Thornton are taking a couple of
Mulligan and Thornton show time, guys.
Here in the studio. Boys, how busy are you now? Deerfest is almost here, isn't it? I bet that keeps you in business.
Pretty busy, yeah. Actually, Pat, we've been...
Okay, let's check this out, shall we?
Which concerns an ongoing investigation.
So like I said, if you are interested in hearing more about like the thoughts on the commentary about the Marvel Cinematic Universe or commentary about or thoughts about what Sony's doing, then I totally recommend checking out Midnight's Edge's YouTube channel. I haven't, like, for me personally, Kajar, I haven't heard that they split the Avengers movies, or they unsplit the Avengers movies. I had heard that they had unsplit the Justice League movies, but that was they specifically said the reason why is likely because Batman vs Superman was such a disappointment I think they were a little too hesitant to give the director 2 more films. But again, we'll continue. We're getting sidetracked a bit, so we're just going to talk a little bit more about Alan Wake. Okay, is there any way out of here? So the Andersons had drunk the Kool-Aid essentially, and it had given them visions. And it in fact affected their creativeness.
Got to be kidding.
The only difference is that their way of I don't have. My kingdom for a flare gun right now. Now let's do this. Everybody? No, it's not everybody. And I will eat all of them. Yeah, I'm not a vegetarian. I do have friends that are vegetarians, and I probably just really offended them by that comment, but I am not a vegetarian. The way that I was told about this. Okay. So yeah, the Andersons were affected by songs essentially. Okay, let's move on.
Al? Is that you out there, buddy?
I had to find a key to get Barry out.
Yeah, it's me. Hang on. I'll try to
Okay,
find
we're
a key
coming
to
at
get
the
door
end
open.
of this chapter. Check the time. We're going on about 90 minutes. Yeah, we're still within time. I do have to wrap this up after the chapter concludes.
You know I got my allergies.
For time reasons, guys, so please bear with me.
Come on, Al, open the door already. Serious. Hey,
All right,
let's
we
go,
got
man.
you, Barry.
I think we're gonna have to work together to open this gate, Al. Looks pretty heavy. Ah! Hey, I think that's the farm on the other side of the field. We're almost there. This farm is a crazy place for crazy people.
We should feel right at home then.
And we got another barricade.
Come on, one more gate. Let's do this thing.
Okay, let's pick up this chainsaw. I can't pick up the chainsaw. Video game logic, I want to pick up this chainsaw. Doom. Come on, I want the Silent Hill. I guess I'll have to go without the chainsaw. Silent Hill 2, I loved using the chainsaw in Silent Hill 2. I love using the chainsaw in Doom. Old gods know the truth. This is their house. They said they left a message for us, so let's check it. It's in here.
Guess we better check the fuse box.
That's fuse box count number 2 by my count, guys.
The power downstairs was out, but I was sure I could fix that at the fuse box.
One thing I got a kick out of right here is if you look up here at this little poster, this is basically like a this poster is the album for the for basically for one of their records, In the Valley of
this place looks kind of
My Shadow. They actually use that artwork on the official Oh God website, which for a while was the only way you could listen to some of the old Gods of Asgard songs. So, like I was trying to say before, the old Gods of Asgard are actually performed by Poets of the Fall. Poets of the Fall, you might remember as the guys who made that song. What was actually the first YouTube video, one of the first YouTube videos I ever did. Now I can't remember it for the life of me, the name of the song. Now my brain is just not working right now when it comes to it. It was for Max Payne 2. Late Goodbye, that's it. Yeah, the Late Goodbye. They did the song The Late Goodbye, which is actually their first major single, which was for Max Payne 2. And while they do release a specific single, well, there was a specific single that was used for this particular, Late Goodbye. Yeah, Late Good Night or something like that. It's Late Goodbye, that's right. Thanks for helping me jostle my memory. By the way, the video I edited together using that song is actually one of my most popular videos on YouTube, actually. Some people actually subscribe to my channel still to this day because I had made that video. And I'm pretty proud of it, actually. But I have since made other videos, and they have not been as popular, which is surprising. In fact, I think I actually have a music video for this particular song.
Can you hear that, Al? Music?
Of course. We need to
It's your
find where it's
ringtone.
coming
That's
from.
a cool ringtone,
That's the
Revan.
message the Andersons talked about. That's the whole reason we're here.
Lady of the Light? Oh, that's gotta be what's-her-face, the crazy lamp lady from the town.
Cynthia Weaver.
Right. Must be.
Cynthia Weaver, CW. Here are your answers, guys.
Okay.
We need to find Cynthia Weaver. We'll stay here for the night and head back to town as soon as it gets light.
Hey, Al. Lots of hours before dawn. Might as well get some rest. And by rest, I mean drunk.
Come on, Barry, this is... Yeah, what the hell?
Seriously, because I know we don't get along, but we're gonna find her, right? And even though you're a crazy bastard, I'm gonna stick by you, no matter what, ever, Al. Sure, like a brother.
I'm a writer, goddammit.
Correct.
If I just wanted to, I could write 10 books a year. And they'd be the best books that year.
No, you couldn't.
That's right, I couldn't. But I could, because I'm a writer.
What? What do they put in this stuff? I feel like my brain is coming out of my nose. I'm gonna get the recipe off those coots and be a booze millionaire.
I just miss her, Barry. I just want her here with me.
I know, Al. I know. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna make it okay.
That's a true broship right there. You know, they had beds upstairs you could have used. I guess the couch is more comfortable, I guess. When you're, I'm being told by Revan when you're drunk, you don't mind the couch when you're drunk. Okay, good to know.
Alice, I'm coming. It's all right. I'm coming.
And here's your answers, guys, and we'll talk about it later.
And yet, it was more than that. It was the truth. A suppressed memory unearthed by the Andersons' moonshine. I was there, an out-of-body observer. This was the night Alice and I had arrived at Bright Falls, the night Alice had disappeared. I had a chance to find out what had happened. I remembered being surprised to see the cabin dark. Alice would have never turned the lights off.
So yeah, this is a little bit of a first-person mode right here. Actually, it works very well. I gotta give props to the controls for this mode. In fact, I'd love to see an Alan Wake game in first person because of how tight these controls are. So, I mean, I know they feel floaty, but they're supposed to. You're supposed to feel floaty because it's supposed to be a dream, and you're the out-of-body observer. But damn it, I love these controls.
I remembered thinking, I caught a glimpse of her form underwater, sinking into the darkness.
Now, we saw this moment. We saw this moment in the game.
Was the last vague memory I had of that night. After that, the next thing I could remember was waking up behind the wheel of the crash car and finding the first pages of the manuscript.
So what happened between those two times? We're about to see what happened right after he dove in.
I couldn't find her in all that blackness. I must have thought she drowned.
Alice!
Jagger had Alice, and so she had me.
Alice!
I'd been easy prey.
Look at the cabin. Is there someone in the window?
Alice?
Maybe she didn't drown after all. Maybe she's inside.
Alice!
Yes.
Alright, let's go check inside.
The dark presence had touched me. She had dug her nails into my brain and used me, made me her puppet.
She must be here somewhere. Maybe upstairs in the study.
Alice!
Yes, that's where she is. You can apologize.
Alice!
You laugh at the whole thing together and put it behind you.
Alice?
She's not here. You were foolish to think so. No, she's dead. She drowned.
No, no, no!
It's your fault your wife is dead. You are guilty. All she wanted was to help you right. You killed her.
Ah!
Oh, hush. There's still hope. Cauldron Lake is a special place. Here, you have the power to change things. She wanted you to write. I will tell you what to do. You can write her back. The story will come true, and all will be well again.
She had Alice, and the manuscript was the ransom for her. Yes. All right. I'll fix it. I'll bring her back.
Didn't the Extreme Ghostbusters deal with something like this before?
No. I wrote it. I remembered it all now. In the dark, I'd written for days, a week, almost a complete manuscript of a novel entitled Departure. Jagger had been my editor, whispering in my ear, making sure that the unfolding story would make her more and more powerful. I thought I was saving Alice.
And that's what
Even
Hartman
with the
wanted.
cobwebs
Hartman
she
wanted
put
to be
in my
the
head,
editor.
Some part of me had been aware enough to write my escape into the story, to bring a light into the cabin to release me before I could finish, to interrupt the horror story before the ending, where darkness consumed everything and everyone. Zane was weak and far away, but I had written him into the story, and his light had been enough to set me free.
It isn't here now. I'm here because it was written. I brought the light to set you free. You must hurry. It will know I'm here. It will be back soon. It stole the skin of my Barbara a long time ago. She looks so old.
And that's where the light we've been seeing is. He collected the manuscript
I'd woken
pages.
up, confused and groggy, my mind consumed by darkness and fear. All I could do was to escape.
And this is why I like that they chose James McCafferty for the voice. was because they're making it clear in this moment that this had happened to Zane before it had happened to Alan. Well, who had been the voice actor?
Taken its toll. I was barely conscious and fading fast.
Remedy chose to use their last voice actor.
It had to have cost Zane terribly, thrown him even deeper into whatever dark place he now haunted. But he had managed to weaken the dark presence, kept me safe that night.
I wrote it. It's my fault.
That's right, James Joyce. It's your fault, and you're gonna pay for it.
The FBI got you. That's not right. And you've been swatted. That's not nice. That is Chapter 4, guys. My favorite chapter in the game. And you can just tell why after all of that. Well, as I love to have this song play for you guys while I talked, I kind of want to just wrap this up a little bit. We'll show the opening to episode 5, and we will then call it for right now. But I have some final thoughts about the chapter that I want to share with you guys before we close. So let's move on.
Previously on Alan Wake. Under the influence of the dark presence, I wrote a horror story that is coming true. Jagger had been my editor, making sure that the unfolding story would make her more and more powerful. Some part of me had been aware enough to write my escape into the story.
Together we can create something absolutely wonderful.
The lake, it does something to the works of art created here. It makes them come true. My mom gave me this old light switch.
The clicker.
Alice is being kept in a dark prison. I need to find Cynthia Weaver to fix this.
It's your fault, and you're gonna pay for it.
Well, we're expecting a record crowd from the neighboring counties. Naturally, we hope to break the record set by last year's Moose Fest in our neighboring town, Watery. Ladies and gentlemen, some people have asked me, what's the big deal about Deer Fest? And I think that this sums it up. It's about friendship and community. We've got a great party coming up, but let's try to hold it in until tomorrow and get through the night in one piece, all right?
I have it. Someone will come for it when the time is right. Thomas said so. He wrote it. The key is insurance. It's my job to keep it safe. Safe in the light. Always in the light. Hello.
All the manuscript pages were gone. The FBI agent had taken them.
I think my tongue just took a crap in my mouth. Ugh. Oh, wait, we're in jail now? Al. Al, this is not good.
That about sums it up.
All right, I've been asked to show the opening sequence and to read the first of the pages.
Drinking again.
I will do that. Because you requested it, Revan, I will do it.
She's the one in the song. The Lady of the Light.
What, the crazy lady? Ugh, whatever you say, Al, but we're stuck here. They're not gonna...
even interviewed Wake.
I had some reading to do first, Sheriff, and let me tell you, it was an interesting read. Well, I've got you now, Raymond Chandler. It's all here. All the evidence, including conspiracy to murder a federal agent. There's no way you're walking out of here. You hear me in there, Bret Easton Ellis? Huh?
Agent Nightingale, I want to talk to your superior.
Well, we all want things, Sheriff. I wanted my... Look, that's not possible right now.
Agent Nightingale, I insist. Wake, what's wrong?
Lady, are you stupid? It's a trick. It's an obvious trick.
Okay, I've had enough of this crap. Wake, I'm gonna trust you with this.
You're joking.
Agent Nightingale, your opinion would matter more if you were sober and if I actually believed you were here on official business.
Whoa! Get back in the cell, Stephen King. The only way you're leaving this place is over my dead... Wait a minute. I know this...
Oh my God!
Light. We need light. It's the only way to fight this thing.
In my office. I've got your things there. Follow me.
I believe this is the first manuscript page you were talking about.
Stay cool.
I'll just grab this one for right now.
Emergency power on.
Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about that guy in just a minute or two. Okay, you said it was the first one. Nightingale reads the manuscript. Is this it? Okay.
Nightingale tried to make sense of the manuscript. It was disjointed and strange. He didn't understand half of it, but it all rang true. Impossibly true. He took out his hip flask when he reached the page that described how he reached the page that made him take out his hip flask. It wasn't the booze that made his mind reel.
There you go, guys. That's a little bit of background information of what it's like when he's reading this stuff. So for you, Revan, I comply. All right. So this is a good time to stop as soon as this thing stops swirling. Okay. Okay. We definitely got through chapter 4, and now we're on chapter 5. So this is a good time to stop. Now, I have my own opinions about how I want to say about Agent Nightingale and talk about Agent Nightingale, but you did notice specifically that Nightingale did kind of stop when he says, I wanted this, or we all want our things, and I wanted blank, and then he corrects himself, and then he moves on. There's a reference there to something which also describes what I think is his background. A lot of people don't know this, but Agent Nightingale was originally going to be a playable character. We were supposed to see stuff from his perspective. Now, it wouldn't be until we got Quantum Break a couple of years later where we actually saw developers do that, where you got to play as the bad guy even for a short period of time. But the idea was that you'd have two perspectives. Now, there was a lot of stuff that was shown that was scripted for him that didn't end up in the final game when they decided we're just going to have the whole game be Alan Wake. And I'll probably talk about a lot of it for next time, but I want to mention this one thing right now, which is that he's referencing a lost partner. That's what this is all about. He had lost a partner. And that's why he's drunk, and that's why he's blaming Alan. Now, his reasoning for blaming Alan, I'll tell you next time. But there's a reason he blames Alan. And it's not 100% set in the game. But some of the external material, which was based on what would have been if they had used him as a playable character, is considered canonical. And a lot of it was included in the Alan Wake Files book. And some of it ended up in Alan Wake Illuminated. Not all of it, but most of it ended up between the two. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank Kajar. I want to thank Revan so much for coming in. We're going to pick up this stream probably later this week, maybe tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have a chance to get this thing started sooner, so we can get the stream concluded sooner. But right now I am completely out of time. I have to get going. We'll have this archived tomorrow. I'll resume streaming tomorrow. So hope you guys enjoyed it so much. Thank you so much for coming in, guys. Until tomorrow, thank you, Revan. Thank you, Kajar. Take care. This is Maniac with GameAccess.net. Please visit my website, and my YouTube channel is youtube.com/Maniac536. Till next time, over and out.